There you go. A little bit of Darn That Dream. All right, so what I wanted you to hear in that, not only is it a beautiful arrangement, and we've got some interesting chords that I don't typically use, and so that was what really struck out to me when he was doing it. It also incorporates beautifully this idea of patterns. Well, let's talk about patterns in music. The ear really gravitates towards patterns. I mean, just think of even speech as you're talking. If I just started mumbling something or something in a different language, you wouldn't understand. But as soon as you hear something that is familiar to you, as soon as you hear a pattern, suddenly your ear, ding, knows what's going on. Have you ever listened, let's translate it to music now. Have you ever listened to some soloists, and they're soloing, they're blazing, they're going everywhere. But you know what? It's just not clicking with you. And yet other solos, even though they're simple, it is so memorable. Even just a rhythmic part, even so a simple rhythmic part can be played and you remember it right off. How come this one guy's playing a million notes, he's playing everything, but you can't really remember anything, you just kind of sit back and go, wow, that was great. And then another guy plays a solo that's a tenth as busy, and yet you end up whistling that as you're walking away from the concert. What's the deal with that? It's patterns. Your ear, if it doesn't sense a pattern, it just kind of puts it off as unintelligible. Okay? So if I just started rambling off in another language, you wouldn't understand me. But as soon as I do a pattern, as soon as I do something that you understand, your ear locks in with that and you knows what I'm doing. So if I am just, let's say I'm just soloing away. So I just bumble up a bunch of notes there, and you go, well, that's okay, but it's nothing. Can you remember anything that I did? I can't. I don't remember a thing that I did. But yet if I played something over the same chords, that was something like... Suddenly, even though I played only 6 notes or something there, your ear automatically remembers it, ga 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 ga, and then I did it again in a different tonality. The ear locked into that pattern thing. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so how does that apply? That's a little bit of how it applies in single notes. Let's talk about how it applies with chords. I'll give you a hint. You can get by with a lot of stuff and sounds like you're playing a gazillion chords and it's so creative and stuff like that, and actually it's just patterns. It's just the same chord shifted over a couple of times. Okay, for example, so I'm rocking this song, pretty standard. Pause right here on that E7 flat 9. This is the last chord of that first line of Darn That Dream. Now, on the next page, you'll see I kind of wrote out the general chord forms that I'm using. And this is kind of, what is that? On the second line of my Darn That Dream chords, the third chord, an E7 sharp 9, or E7 flat 9, excuse me, which is actually the same as a B diminished. Okay? If I just add the E to it. E, G sharp, B, D, and F natural. If I take the E out of it, I'm left with G sharp, D, F, and B, which is a B diminished. So a little trick there, over a 7 sharp 9, I can substitute a diminished chord. Okay? Now, but here's a diminished chord. This is one of those chords that if I move it 3 steps in either direction, it's the same chord. So really on any of the chord tones except for the E, the F, the D, the B, the G sharp, I'm able to get by with that. So what I was doing there was I think I was flipping off of this B to the open E underneath it. Sounds oh so impressive. All I'm doing is moving this diminished chord around, flipping off to an open E, and then just moving in a different place. A little trick, a little pattern. Your ear picks up on that. Okay? Now that's just one simple one that you can do with diminished chords, playing a pattern, and it will sound fine to your ear. But there's another one a little bit later on. So if I keep going in that song, second line now, let's see. One way to harmonize that is just to go down in thirds. A and a C, G and a B, F and an A, E flat and a G. Well, those are way out of the key. What on earth is going on there? Yet it doesn't sound that bad to the ear. Because it has a couple of twists and turns, but it sounds like it works to your ear. That's because the ear is recognizing that pattern of the major thirds, and then I'm just shifting it around by whole steps. So I can harmonize using thirds or using a pattern, and the ear will find that. So that's another way. So that's second line again. Let's see. There's my pattern again. Oh, that's a beautiful chord there. It is an E 13th with a flat 9. Not a chord I normally play, but I love it. It's a dominant 7th, but it's got the 7th in the bass, and then you have this major triad, and actually a C-sharp major triad over an E in the bass. Doesn't sound like it would work, but it works great. It's a very open sounding chord. It's an altered jazz chord, but a very open sound. It's a pretty tense chord. It's not a resolved chord. It's not like a G. That's home base for us. That sounds resolved. This is a very tense chord. Think of it like magnetism, okay? Now, if I'm on 1, I'm home. I want to be there. Everything is, that's where I want to be. That's where I'm stuck. But if I'm on an altered chord, I'm really close to home. It's like two magnets together. It really is tugging to that. That's what this chord is. It's very tense. It's not resolved at all. So I can actually get by with a lot of tricks on a chord like this. What if I just moved it up 3 frets and did the same lick? It's still so tense that the ear doesn't know what to do with it all. But it recognizes the pattern, so it thinks it works. What if I went up another 3? What if I went up another 3? Let's see, that would be, let's see. Again, it sounds like I know a million chords. I know one shape, and I'm just shifting it around there. Why does it work? Because the ear is sensing the pattern, plus I'm moving it just 3 steps away. Now, what if I moved it, 2 steps away? Let's hear how that sounds. So let me get it back in context. 2 steps away, I'll do my little... It works a little bit less as well. But if I did 3 steps away, it works. Let me get back in context. There's another chord. Look at that. That's a D7. What is that? Sharp 9 or flat? What if I did 3 steps up on that chord? Hey, sounds like again, it's such a tense chord that I can do my little 3 steps around trick, and it'll work. Add in an extra note in there. There I was just going from the sharp 9 to the flat 9, and then I just did the whole thing up 3 steps. Whole thing up 3 steps. Whole thing up 3 steps. That one is so tense that it doesn't even really matter what I play. Don't believe me? I'm not even going to pay attention. I'm just going to get that chord into context and ramble. It's not even 3 steps. I'm just doing it everywhere. Okay? So let's get it back into context. As long as I spin out of it okay, it kind of worked. Now, I was doing just 2 steps away instead of 3. But here, when I do it 3, it sounds a little bit more natural. There, it kind of works. Just a little trick you could do in jazz. Take the same chord, just move it up 3 steps. Play a little extra note with it, and you can go that finger pattern, and it tends to cover that little pattern a little bit better. Now, later on in the piece, it gets to an even better one, and I wrote this one out. If you'll notice, 5 lines down on the sheet that says "Darn That Dream" chords. Okay, so I go through the rest of the song, and I'm getting now toward the end. Oh, here's one I could do. Beautiful chord there. It's kind of a C minor 6 with a sharp 5 with an A in the bass. Again, very tense chord. I wonder if I could do my little 3 up trick on that one. Kind of half works there. Okay, what am I doing there? Let me get back into context. Oh, beautiful chord. This is an E13th with a flat 9. I have it written down there. It's the 4th line down there. Okay, but then this guy that I was watching, he did this amazing little transfer, which I thought was brilliant. He went to then this shape, and then moved it down 3 frets, and then moved it down 3 frets, then moved it down 3 frets. Brilliant. Brilliant. Again, it's such a tense chord, I can throw anything around it, and it still works. Sorry. There, I even threw some 2s in there, and it worked. Let me play it accurately now. Do you see how it's the same shape? I start out with this shape, and then I go to this other shape, and then I just work it down in 3 steps. And then I did another 3 steps. It takes you off the neck there. But all of that works. You kind of arpeggiate it, and it sounds amazing. What's another way I could do it? It doesn't sound weird at all, because the ear hears the pattern. That's what I wanted you to see. The ear hears the pattern. So that's a beautiful little run there to kind of take it up. And then he spins out of it. Here's our pattern again. There's our awkward chord. And then he does this little ending. Now his ending, again, just listening to it, it sounds like this. So you go, let me play it. Beautiful, brilliant chords. You think the guy knows a million chords. What is that? He's doing, again, a very tense chord that has nothing to do with the rest of the song. It is just completely out of space, but it's such a tense chord, your ear, it doesn't bother the ear, okay? It doesn't know how to sort it, so it just kind of takes it as it is. And if I analyze this chord, it would be an A flat 6 9 flat 5. I know that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible, but it's actually not that bad. Here's the A flat 6 9. I've got it written down there. It's where it says ending there. And then I bar this first finger, and then I kind of arpeggiate it and go. Now he doesn't move down in 3s, he moves down in 2. And right here, where he's got some common tones with these last couple chords, he throws in beautiful a G diminished, which actually sounds like it would be like a G major 7th with a flat 5. And then he resolves it by moving one finger to a beautiful G major 13th. So that ending would be... Sorry. Beautiful, brilliant ending. You think the guy is an absolute genius, and he probably is. But all he's doing is this pattern of these chords. What if I did it, that's going down in steps of 2. What if I did it going down in steps of 3? Let's say I want to end on this one, because that shifts well to the ending chord. So I have to start a half step up. So it would be... Now I'm going to start a half step up. It still works. Let me just close my eyes and play and see if I can just, doesn't even matter what I hit, and it's still going to work. Brilliant. It all still worked, again, through patterns. So I just wanted you to understand that. That's an important concept. You use it all the time, especially in jazz. You can get by with playing one chord and then just kind of shifting it around in different places. This actually kind of ties into the last lesson, live lesson that we did on making chords colorful. If you haven't watched that lesson, we've gotten such good feedback off of that lesson. There's a PDF that goes along with that too. Sorry if I was more... if I did these better, they wouldn't be chicken scratch and just my handwritten notes. I'd have them all typed out for you. But there you go. So anyway, just a couple little tricks. Moving chords around, you can get some creative sounds by using patterns. All right, so let's talk about some questions here. Joe is saying, can you talk about using odd number patterns versus even number patterns in scales? I'm not quite sure I know what you're talking about there, Joe. But let me, if you can clarify it, that would be great. If you, but let me say how you can also use it with single notes and chord tones and stuff. So if I have, all right, let me just get a groove going here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going. Okay, that's just a C major 9th. I'm doing a little groove over it. And I'm going to do... Oh, now he's talking about the even number patterns and scales. Okay, I got you. If I did a scale, this is a C major scale. Okay, so that kind of worked. Now, if I did, emphasizing what Joe's talking about there, emphasizing the even numbers, or excuse me, the odd numbers, which are going to be the C, E, G, and B, the 1, 3, 5, 7 in that scale. Okay, if I throw in some 2, 4, 6s, and 8s, now I'm kind of playing a D minor tonality over this C major, so it's not going to quite work as well. But it's okay for me to kind of step on those every now and then. So did you hear how I just kind of slid by that D minor? 1, 3, 5, 7, 6, 4, 2. It's that 4 that really throws you off. See, as long as I don't hit that 4, I'm okay. As soon as I hit that 4, it sounds off. See if I can hit it do without 4. Maybe I could do some patterns. Those are just a pattern in fourths. If I keep going, it kind of starts getting out of the key. What was all that? That was just a pattern. It doesn't even matter what I do as long as I spin out of it right. Now let me do a pattern that's completely out of the key. I'm going to go from like a C to an E flat. What if I kept going in C to an E flat to an F sharp? Patterns of threes. As long as I spin out of it, I'm okay. Anyway, you get the idea. So you can apply this with different things there. One other thing, well, let's give some stuff away, then I want to talk to you about some other stuff. I want to get to talking about some strumming patterns as well. But let's give something away. We're going to give away stuff from our sponsors tonight. It's an all-sponsor night. You know, Acoustic Guitar Magazine has been so good to us with different things. We have been in their magazine multiple times, and we just love them. They send us everything we want. So somebody's going to win an Acoustic Guitar Magazine, little copy of Acoustic Guitar Magazine from a few months back. The winner of this is Dennis Skaggs. Dennis, you have just won a copy of Acoustic Guitar Magazine, thanks to our good family over at Acoustic Guitar Magazine. So congratulations, Dennis. Send me your information at service@mightyoakmusic.com, mightyoakmusic.com, and we can get that out to you. Okay. Let me also let you know of some announcements that we have to make for different things. Our fingerstyle fall retreat is coming up. All the slots are sold out, and we already have, I think we got one person we were able to. I told y'all need to get on the waiting list. If you're interested in coming, don't get discouraged. Send me an email at service@mightyoakmusic.com. We've already had a couple people drop, and the first couple people on the waiting list are already in. So I've got one guy in the pipeline now. I'm sure a couple more people are going to drop before we get to the time, because I know just life happens and folks have to cancel for various reasons. So if you're still interested in coming, get on that waiting list. I'm telling you, I'll try and accommodate you as much as possible. We're having Phil Kagi, we're having Trevor Gordon Hall. Acoustic Guitar Magazine Acoustic Guitar Magazine is one of the top 30 guitarists in the world under 30 to check out. So brilliant. So check that out. We also have, I wanted to show you this stand. I don't know if you're like me, but have you ever gotten those, you need a music stand at the house because you're putting stuff on your music stand. And you go down to the music store and you can buy these big, huge metal ones, but then you have this big honking metal stand that doesn't really fold up or anything like that. Or the other option is you buy these little wire things that are like $12, and you can fold them up, but yet you put them together and you can't put a decent book on them because the thing just crumples underneath you. Or, heaven forbid, you would trip over the dumb thing, and now it's bent, or you fall into it, or something happens, and all your stuff falls on the ground, and the end stuff ends up being bent. I hate that. So those are my two options. I can buy this huge metal thing that I can't tear down, that's sturdy enough, or I have this cheap wire thing that I know one good bump, and the thing's going to get bent, and I'm never going to be able to use it again. So, with that in mind, I've always been looking for a good music stand that is sturdy, that's portable and collapsible, and we found one. We found one. This guy here. This is a music stand. We've got a few of them that we've come across. I saw these at the NAMM show and absolutely loved them. Okay, so here's the deal. It's metal, big metal tubes on the bottom of it. So it's not going to bend over when you put a decent book on it. Here's a real book, okay? Big old thick real book. Okay, and the thing holds it fine. It'll hold another couple of them on there. It's even got little things to where your music won't fly off. So there you go. So it'll hold things. You can adjust it however you need to. You can bring it forward, bring it back. This is a durable plastic thing. But here, look here's what I love about it. I take this off. I loosen this back here. If I can get to it. I loosen this. This comes down and folds in here like a little square. This comes up and it all fits together like this and comes in a little handy. On the other side of that is the little case that this comes in. So it comes in this little cute little case that you could fold it up and put it in its case. So it comes down like this. It comes with this little carrying bag. And you sit and you put this in here, it folds it all in there, and you're able to carry your stand around. You want to go on vacation or whatever, still have your music stand. I just love these things. So this is a great way to go. If you're interested, we just put this up in the in our store, and for just about what you would drop on one of these cheaper stands, you can get one of these guys. So if you're interested in getting this collapsible music stand, comes with a carrying case, you can check it out on our website. We've got Doug's already put up the link for it. If you're in a situation where you need to take your stand somewhere and you don't want to mess with one of those dumb stands that bends and stuff like that, this is a good option. Best option I've found. Okay, and I've looked around quite a bit, and this is the best option I found for a collapsible travel music stand. So anyway, there you go. There you go. All right, that's enough of that. Let's give away one more thing. Let's give away from our good friends over at Fishman, who has supported us with everything that we do. I'm going to play a little something on acoustic here in a little bit, and I always use my Fishman Aura Spectrum. They sent us as a luggage tag, a little koozie thing, and a bottle opener. So just some swag from Fishman. Nothing to get too excited about, but I appreciate it. I mean, these guys, I just call them up, and they send me stuff. And even at the fingerstyle guitar workshop that we're having, Fishman sent down some great gear that we're going to be giving away to some of the lucky folks there at the fingerstyle retreat. So we love Fishman. Anyway, the winner of this is Albert Seva. Albert Seva, C-E-V-A. You have just won this luggage tag, a little koozie, and a bottle opener from our good friends at Fishman. All right, so that is, send me your information at service@mightyoakmusic.com. Okay. Let me show you one more thing that we can do. Let me grab this guitar one more time. In that one page, I wrote down here the power of 3 patterns. Here's one that I use all the stinking time. And you guys get impressed with it every time I do it, and if you only knew how simple this was, you'd never be impressed with anything I do again. Okay? I use 4th chords a lot. Well, what is a 4th chord? It's a chord built in fourths. An A, in this case, an A. 4 steps up from an A is a D, A, B, C, D. 4 steps up from a D is a G, D, E, F sharp, G. 4 steps up from a G is a C. So it's a little animal here with 2 bars. I'm playing it in the key of C, so I've got a first finger bar on the 7th fret, 4th and 3rd string, and then a second finger bar on the 2nd and 1st string. It's a very, again, your ear has a hard time defining what that chord is. So it can't put it in a tonality, which is great. That means it works equally well as in anything. Here's the same version of the chord, just done on the 5th through the 2nd strings. Like if I did it in D, it would be a D, G, C, and an F. A little bit different shape. Those are the only 2 shapes I know of this. So it's very open sound. Doesn't sound like it's in a tonality, which means I can even play melodies with it. Wow, sounds like I'm playing a million different chords. No, I'm playing one shape. An atonal shape, in this case a particular 4th chord, and I can get by with using it to harmonize a melody, even though when I don't want to have to physically come up with a chord. So let's see if I can add it to some of our Darn That Dream. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'll add it anyway. What if I just didn't bother with all that? I just did 4th chords. Or I could just use it occasionally. Hey, maybe I could do a pattern. Fourth chord. Pattern. Cool little way that I can use a pattern for a chord. So that was one of my favorites there, a 4th chord. And the other one we already talked about, diminished chords can be shifted 3 steps away there. So I can use it when I want to play a melody and I don't want to harmonize the chord. I can just use that little 4th trick exercise. So you'll hear me do that all the time. So mainly, listen for that. When you're listening to these great jazz fingerstyle guys play, Joe Pass and Martin Taylor, Tommy Emmanuel sometimes will use it. All these great guys will use this technique, these patterns. So be listening for it. You don't want to do it all the time, but it's just another trick, another tool to have in your tool belt. Let's get to a couple of questions. Tom Moore is saying, can you describe when you're hitting the melody notes in the chord solo? Well, if right now I'm doing it finger style. So I'm trying to, here's the melody. That's the melody. So I don't want to necessarily have anything above the melody. I want to have everything below the melody. So here's, I wish I could say it's more complex than this, but it's not. You have the melody note, and then I try and squish as much of the chord I can underneath it, and make it work. So I did a little G major 7th here. Now I couldn't reach that in that chord. Maybe I could throw my 4th chord in there. Here's that melody note there. I could throw my 4th chord in there. And then I have my odd chord. I wonder if I could do my odd chord and then just move it up 3 steps to catch these other notes. Works perfectly. Maybe I could go. wow, what was all that? It sounded like I knew a million chords. It was this shape. Moved, did my old three fret down thing that you're not. Now you're going to hear me do it and you're not going to be impressed anymore. Then I did kind of a D7, augmented, sharp 9, and I moved that around. That didn't work as well. And then I did in a diminished form. And I spun out of that. So added all that up together. Sounds like I'm more brilliant than I am. Keith Bates is saying, does the scales or keys within the patterns predicate the direction you can take? Well, not really the direction. The direction doesn't really matter as long as you're consistent, as long as the ear can hear the direction that you're wanting to go. So it's mainly more the tonalities that you're using, or even the rhythms that you're using, or the intervals that you're using, things like that. But the direction really doesn't matter as much. Robert Jones is saying, Steve, what are spider walking exercises, and what are they used for in relation to guitar exercises? Well, I'm not quite sure I know exactly what you're talking about there, Robert. The only spider walking exercise I know is the one that Jack Pearson talks about, where you put your hand on your guitar, let's say maybe at the, let's do it at the 3rd fret, okay? And each finger is going to be on a fret. So first finger's on the 1st string, on the 6th string, 3rd fret, second finger's on the 4th fret, 3rd finger's on the 5th fret, pinky's on the 6th fret. So everybody's got his own fret on the 6th string. So now I start with that, and I try and move. Let's do the easy ones where I do 1 and 2 down a string. I lift and put those down. Then I'm going to do 3 and 4 down a string. This is all about motor skill control is what these little exercises do. Let's move 1 and 2 again and move them down to the 3rd string or the 4th string. You've got to move them together. It's real easy to do them separately. It's moving them together that's the trick. So you got to lift, put them down. Let's get a little bit more of a complicated pattern. Maybe I'm going to move now 1 and 3, and I'm going to skip a string and go down to the 4th string. So I raise them up, go to the 4th string. Now what if I did 2 and 4, and I move those down to the 5th string, and then maybe again to the 3rd string, and then maybe 1 and 3 down to the 2nd string, 2 and 4 down to the 1st string. It's very hard. 1 and 3 down to the 1st string. That's the only little spider walking exercise that Jack Pearson teaches. It is great for building a finger interdependence, or finger independence, so that you can move pinky and second finger together in little ways that you would need to do them sometimes when you're playing. So anyway, there you go with all of that. Let's give away one more thing, and then I want to play something for you. Give away another one of our sponsors, Martin Guitar. So somebody's going to win a great Martin Guitar shirt. Not a Martin Guitar itself, just the shirt. I don't know what size this is. Let's see what we got here. This is a 3XL. So I hope whoever wins this is a big person, okay? Or else you can use it as a nightshirt or something, okay? That is a 3XL, but it's a really cool Martin shirt. So the winner of this is Robert Jones. Robert Jones, you have just won. I don't know whether you're a big guy, but I hope you are. For this sake, that you got a good 3XL coming from Martin Guitars. Hey, Robert, congratulations. Albert, congratulations. You've got some Fishman stuff. And Dennis, you've got an Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Send me your information at service@mightyoakmusic.com. Your mailing address, screen name, what you won, all these things help me out when I'm trying to send these out. So congratulations on all that sort of stuff. We will not have a live lesson next week, but we'll be back on the 22nd. So we're kind of on our summer schedule where we only do 2 a month. So after this month, then we'll kind of get back on a normal schedule. All right. So there you go. That's some ideas for that. I wanted to show you just one thing that I thought might be helpful to you. This is my acoustic, my J45. Let me turn down some of the effects here. Now, when I first play the instrument during for the day. Okay, so when I first touch my instrument for the day, this is something that helps me. Okay, you guys find what works for you. This is what helps me. I get up really early, and I get into our upstairs room, and it's all quiet, and the first time I touch my instrument, you want that to be a time where you're not playing fast or anything. You're listening for tone. You're listening for touch. You're listening for just making the instrument sound good, waking your fingers up musically for the day. So this is kind of an exercise that I started doing that's really, really helpful for me. So first thing I do, I'll kind of talk about what I'm going to do, and then I'll do it for you, is I just kind of play one note, usually an open string. Let's say in this case an A. Okay, so I want my nails to be, getting in good tone. So I'm just listening for that tone. And I'm just waking up for the day. And then I'll usually just start to build and evolve on various strings surrounding that fifth string A, surrounding the string where I started. It's not always on A, but it's on other things as well. And I'll just start doing other strings around it, and then it evolves into this larger thing. I'm not playing a song. I'm just playing different sounds and tones and textures to try and get my fingers awoken for the day and to wake up some creativity in me. Okay? So just bear with me, and I'll just kind of do what I do for a couple of minutes. So hopefully you'll get something out of this. Okay, so there I've just used the fifth and the fourth string. I'm deliberately trying to stay away from the third, just because that locks me into a key too much. So I'm just kind of playing seconds, fourths maybe, but I'm deliberately not playing the third at this point because I don't want to start playing patterns. I want to just let my ear tell my fingers what to do. So now I'm going to I'll add the open E to it. Again, the emphasis is on tone. And the more I evolve, the more strings, the more notes I start using. Let's add the second string now. There's the third. Maybe I can do thirds. I haven't used the sixth string yet. Let's go down the sixth string. Doing little finger combinations to just hear how the tonality is shifting when I just change just one note. Some of these shape chords we talked about last week. Maybe I start incorporating some pull-offs and hammer-ons. SE. Okay, that's a cool sound. I can't talk and play it at the same time. What if I just shifted up a half step? All right, there you go. That's just a little bit of how I warm up when I first touch my instrument. So realize the process that I went through. I started with one note, tried to get the tone right, then I went to various other strings around it. Along the way, I'm adding different strings, I'm adding different intervals, I'm adding different technique things of pull-ons and hammer-ons and pull-offs and things like that. And by the end of it, I'm not trying to play a song or anything like that. I'm just trying to create something and let my ear be my guide. So that's something that I do that has been helpful for me in the mornings to kind of get going for the day musically. So find what works for you. Hey, we will see you guys in 2 weeks for the next live lesson. Check out some of these 3 patterns that we talked about tonight. See if you can incorporate those into your own playing. And we will see you guys next time.